Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? I hope you are well. Now, as you can see, we are already in the Christmas mood, right? Even on the Benjamin Zulu show, we are on Christmas mood. But talking about Christmas mood, ladies and gentlemen, I know we are going to celebrate, and some of us are going to pour everything we've actually prepared for into it. All right, we're going to overindulge. And talking about overindulging, ladies and gentlemen, today I want us to revisit a topic that is very sensitive, okay? And some of us have decided to sugarcoat it, and Benjamin calls a spade a spade, all right? Today we are talking about sex outside marriage. Benjamin is going to give you reasons as to why you can never make love outside marriage, even as you look forward to celebrating this Christmas. Hey, Benjamin.
Hey, and you know there's a hype that comes with the festival seasons.
Yes.
You're meeting new people, you're taking a break from work, you're traveling to new places, and you know there's just this ease, it's relaxed. But in everything good, because of the nature of body, the way we are, the nature of seeing deceptiveness of the times we are living in everything good there's a danger, and it has not been spoken of enough. You know, and today I want to debunk a lot of what is popular but very wrong. Isaiah says, woe to the rebellious children who form alliances, but not of my spirit, to heap sin upon sin, to help each other do wrong. There's another place where you're told not to join the masses to commit sin. And there's another place in Isaiah that says that the generation that replaces calls good evil and evil good, puts light for darkness and darkness for light. We are at a time where the people who have kept themselves, who are virgin, who are committed, who are dedicated to live sexually pure life, are being ridiculed.
Yeah.
being called unexposed, green, not likable, not fashionable, not trendy. And you hear them asking genuine question, I'm 26 and I'm virgin, am I normal? I mean, a guy tells me I'm 27, I've never had sex, am I normal? I tell you the truth, what is right has become so small. Those who are right feel like they're abnormal.
Yeah.
And that's how you know as a generation, we are getting lost. There was a graduation the other day, and the keynote speaker was asking those guys to go home with their spouse. Are people... Where are we from? We still have a parent who can tell children that.
And this is a learned person.
Yeah. This was a government officer, a person who's being called because perhaps they have substance. Brahman, if you ever be called to a graduation ceremony and you have nothing to say, shut up. Don't mislead young people. They are no... So look at what they are being told. It's dating, it's sex, it's trying, it's in college. These are children. They are not spouses in campus. These are children. They don't know themselves. So the same way you are having people who are pure, principled, and others are virgins. Some people became principled after they had lost their virginity through other times when they did not know or they were taking advantage of some. So when you talk of virgins, they're not the only principled people. Any day you wake up, you can reform your life, and God will forget it as if it never happened. You can actually heal and live a straight life. So if you are here and you're messed up, it's not all lost. If you are here and preserved yourself, I'll tell you the advantage. Being pure and not having mixed yourself up as solid, concrete advantages that will give you better peace of mind, better pleasurable life, if you know how to use it right. In fact, it means you have less baggage, less bad memories to deal with. So, Brahman, we are dealing at a time that even those who are supposed to be parents are misleading us. Many of them are talking, because when they stand there, they just see girls in the campus. They think these are women. What I mean, there's a problem with men. Bromwell campus girls are just girls.
Yeah.
Keep that in your mind. These are just girls. They are at the most age of innocence and naivety. They are still trying to find what they are, who they are in life. They are growing, but they are not wife materials yet. Some will be, others will never be. But you can't tell who is who when in campus. You tell these boys, you are supposed to be focusing, your mind is not yet prepared for the challenge of marriage. Supposed to be putting solid financial foundations in your life, solid career foundations in your life. The Christmas wave is coming, and these young people, because they have no job, many of them don't have steady income, They use the associations to get some upkeep here and there as they go. And Bramwell wanted to tell them some of the things that the word making love has been popularized and meant that if you have sex with your girlfriend or boyfriend, now that you are making love, you went and spent there. Bramwell, making making love. Where did that word come from? I don't want to take to the etymology. Not to start dissecting the history and where it came from. But people use it to replace having sex, and they want to make it look like now they're having a good thing because they're naming it after sex. The right word when you're not married is not making love, is fornication. Yeah. Let's replace the right words first. Yeah. You're not married. There's nothing like love there. We may think, I think the greatest deception of our day is to make people think that you can ignore what God says about your life. It's like you can live the way you feel. And that's why we have so much pain in marriage. We have so much pain in the marriage space. We have so much, wastage of generations. That's why we are crying about boy child, the failure of leadership. A man telling graduates to go home with a spouse. From where? You should look at the spouse, the graduates, and pity them. Because the job market they're going to is congested. Like, what is this? It is so congested you can hardly tell where they'll put their foot. Suppose tell them the next 5 years think about nothing else except clearing a path, except making a niche for yourself. The next so many years, make it another university degree. In fact, we are told that one guy told me a quick formula. After you graduate, enroll yourself for another degree. The same period of time, 4 to 5 years of preparation, of trying to live on a very low cost, so that the small monies you're getting from wherever, you can sustain them. Relationships are expensive and confusing. Told me, live on a small cost. Live near where you're working. Sometimes wake up earlier before matatus are expensive, before traffic jam and congestion. Spend lesser money, get there ahead, work, impress bosses, learn the skills, master the craft, so that you're given better opportunities. Bring your head forward. Because many times it will be favors you'll be given, internship here, the other one there, small pay here. You are picked among 1,000, so you're not that special anyway. It's those years that you distinguish who you are. And Bramwell, I followed that advice to the letter. That's what made a difference in my life. Graduated 2012, and for the next 5 years, all the way to 2016, there was nothing. I was not dating. I was simply building myself. I was pursuing a master's. I was trying businesses. We had mentorship meetings. I was fully into personal development. It was like another degree. That's what I'm eating today. Please, that degree means nothing. The degree in the university means nothing. It is common. Everybody has it. Look at the hundreds of thousands graduating. Just look, it will tell you. So Bramwell, before you get married, any sex is not making love. It is sinful. It is self-destructive. So I want to tell them the 3 principles where it's impossible to make love outside marriage. Number 1, Bramwell, people think you can have sex and forget it. One reason you cannot have sex outside marriage and say you made love is because you're making permanent memories that you will regret for many years. Whether you enjoyed the sex or you endured it. And tell some of these people that when they start chatting online and they're open for sex and meeting and having a date night, that's how they end up being trapped by these psychopaths. With many psychopaths who hunt for people, or hunt for naive people thinking this can even actually send some money, they get you used to as if they are friendly, so that you can finally agree to meet in Mombasa or some town, and they hurt you badly. You see, you don't know this person. Maybe they have abnormal, they have some things that are okay, that are not okay, that are not normal. Now you're locked yourself in a room with them. It only takes one bad move like that, and your life takes a turn for the worse. Remind young people that there is this tendency of thinking it will happen to other people, not me. Yeah. Until it arrives and it's too late. The one reason you must not think having sex outside marriage is making love is because the memories you're starting there, the connection you're starting there, the secret, you'll have given that person power to reveal something and distort your name. What you are starting there will run for so many years. The few minutes you are there, or the night even, or it will outweigh the memory and the regret and the wishing you did not do it will outweigh. And let's say the second reason is this. There's something connected directly to your conscience about having sex and intimacy. The Bible calls having sex like going to a person. There's something, people have debated it. They call it soul ties. They call it, bonding. They call it projection. A person is like that part there. It's like your spirits have gotten linked. There's a connection that you create with the people when you have sex with them, that even when you are not talking and you're not in touch with anymore, will still be affecting you. And one way it will affect you is because you may find it very hard to bond with other people. You have heard people talk about soul ties. Brahma, if you are not having sex outside marriage, you never have to worry about soul ties. When people marry, right, and perhaps the marriage doesn't work, somebody else betrays, or they change, or there is death, or the marriage ends, there you have ended that thing formally and prayed and closed it and moved on. You will not struggle with soul ties when you're keeping sex for marriage, when you're saying, I'll marry when I get into marriage, I'll have sex when I get into marriage. Now, that connection with whoever have sex with is being debated whether it is psychological or it's spiritual, but there is no question whether it is there. People are trying to look for the name of where to call it. So those who are spiritually inclined call it soul ties. As if your soul, the inner person, was tied with that person. Those who are psychologically bent, psychological, I'll tell you, is because of neurons. Your neurons learn to associate a certain feeling with that person. And you may become so conditioned to preserve that kind of feeling to them. And when you see them, when you remember them, the craving for that experience rises and you begin to feel, yearning for them. And you may have this person while in mind you're having sex with your partner, but in mind you're having another person. That person who the neurons got excited with that person. And so, Brahma, when I tell you this, imagine now that person who is living with a person they're not married with. What are they planting into their lives? When you have sex with people outside marriage, the person you are bonding with will carve paths into your mind, and they will imprint a certain experience in your mind that is associated to them. When I talk like this, when you teach these lessons on Facebook, people are saying, where were these kind of clear truths? Because it looked like a debatable issue. Some are saying you can, others saying there's no problem, I can't, no, me, this is your life, I can. So they say during our day it was an argument. There was no clear teaching. Look like a debate. That's how you know when confusion has prevailed. Even what is supposed to be true and clear, it's no longer being spoken. People are just arguing. So we are saving a number of them. We are saving a lot of them, that many of them that our generation was not taught with clarity and authority and in a persuasive way, in a way that you can see it works. We are trying to help them. So the second reason is because the person you are bonding, connecting your souls to, creating neural connection, creating a bond. That person may be nowhere in your future, and you will be tormented to overcome them. How many people do I need telling me I'm unable to unlove? The person I was getting intimate with, the person has gone on, the person it's no longer, but I move on. It's how many years now? I'm with this person, I can't feel it. I know I'm supposed to love this person. Sometimes one reason you can't love other people, you are still emotionally, psychologically stuck with the person you used to have sex with in the past. And Brahma, we have told young people about the stages of their development. When you're under 25, your mind is very impressionable. It's very soft. It gets addicted highly to cocaine, to alcohol, to sex, to romance. It gets highly addicted to soaps. It's very soft and impressionable. You're supposed to protect it and focus it on the right. It was given that softness and power to absorb so that it can prepare you for a career in life, prepare you for life skills, learn new languages. That softness of the brain was meant for you to focus it on what you're created to do. All right? But remember this, even when your mind is now mature, the sexual feeling is very strong. And when you start having this stolen sex, and I want you to tell these young people, especially 26-year-olds, they come to adulthood very reckless. Brahma, I don't understand it. Many 26-year-olds have started their careers. Yeah. They're in their jobs now. But the things they are writing are chilling. The mistakes they're making, Brahma, have you ever heard somebody talking and you're froze? You can't believe it. 26, I was dating this guy, then I got pregnant. No, it's nothing casual with getting pregnant. Yeah. By the time you're 26, you already decided the life you want. And Brahma, once you start having your own money, Once after working hard, Brahmal, I can't imagine how many years it took you. Journalism is one of the careers that mature very slowly.
That is a fact.
Requires a lot of patience to mature the career of journalism. Thank God nowadays we have YouTube. We have other media houses that are not mainstream. Like ours, we don't have a TV. But in your day, the YouTube was not common. So you had to depend on the mainstream guys who have media houses. So you're looking at radio stations in Kenya, imagine Googling. And to persuade a person to give you a chance to make some living. Brahmal, I'm sure it took all the dedication you had. You could not afford to get distracted. Because money is hardly there. And you have distances to cover, impressions to make, interviews, people to look for, CEOs to run after. And you come 5 times. He's out there. Come next week, Tuesday. You know, because you look like a pseudo beggar. You are the one on the receiving end. These people have no interest in. It's just the receptionist who keep telling you. It will depend whether we are interviewing. Leave your letter there. So, this career of yours that took this long to mature, how much dedication did it take? And the other careers that once you finish the degree, you're almost ready for the industry. It's all about like now waiting for the absorption and hoping and doing things in the middle. Like many people go to the teaching courses, who do the courses that they'll be absorbed by institutions that are being established. It's to queue. What they wait long is the queue to move. But journalism, there's no queue. Nobody has promised to anything. There's no queue here. Can you go out and look for where to go in? So the same with my job. It's more business. Nobody has promised you anything. So just go out there and look for where to. So and there's a director of one of the major institutions, our public universities, who told me that there's a lot of misperception because 40% of all their new enrollment now, 40% is doing business courses, BBIT, BCom, Bachelor of Business Administration, business course, 40%, and the other 30% is doing education. That's 70% in 2 courses. And remember, we have mentioned 2 out of 50.
Imagine.
We have said nothing about engineering courses, nothing about School of Medical Sciences, nothing about, creative arts, nothing about just 2.
70%.
So she just tell me how that school of education will handle, how that school of business will handle, while other guys are playing with the 2% of the population. And when she goes there, why did you pick business course? My father advised because my uncle takes that. My bigger brother is also BCom. My other sister, you're teaching, you are assured of job. It was nothing to do with what they wanted in life. So, Brahma, one of the problems we are having and misperception with these people is they are not focused really. And I'm entering the third reason why sex before marriage is not making love. It's destroying your life. They have not been told that there's another rigorous journey of self-creation. And I've told you, whether you're doing it before you're 25 or after you're 25, the sex experience itself is very intense. And I was telling you how 26-year-olds have disappointed me. They enter the industry and they go with a lot of carelessness that is obnoxious. Just when she was ready, after all this waiting, now she's 26, her nursing career. Nursing also matures pretty soon because after you get the qualification, you can do other things as you wait for absorption. So more of queuing and checking where there is a space. So they are not required to many times, although there are some more business oriented, of course. They don't want to be absorbed into to the system. They want to start their own things. But I've noticed that many who start the early maturing careers who are lucky to have landed in a soft spot after very long. Probably even if you're being paid 15,000 and you get it every month, that's paradise for somebody who's never had any coin, ready to beg. I'm not talking about the size of a salary now. I'm talking about self-reliance. Brahma tell these young people once you reach 27, 26, you have your small bed sitter and a gas cooker's tiny one. We don't start life with big things. Start small things. So you have your space there and a switch you can switch on and lock the. In fact, if it is your space, you can close the door and eat. You see, that's what you're looking for when you're struggling in your career. You can't wait to stop, to sharing space and having to share beds and being told when to wake up and go cook with the other. You wanted that place you can go to work and come home to your own house. That is the beginning of where you're supposed to shape your life now. But many of them are reaching there and then they start having sex outside marriage and they complicate their lives permanently when they were just on the brink of breakthrough. I was wondering with my wife, are some of these girls cursed? Is there a curse running after them? They make so many bad decisions. I begin to believe some of these people have curses. No, don't call me superstition. But Brahma, if you listen to the stories of somebody who was just at the emancipation and the freedom point to now say, I must date right, marry right, have a peaceful life. They start making decisions that are just wayward, opposite. After many years of, and many of them usually just ask them, you struggled so much to get your own money, struggled so much to reach here. It took you so many late nights and not sleeping well and running after missing marks and running after exams and pursuing. And when you finally have a job now and a degree or a diploma in nursing and you are going to work and coming home, what was your next logical thing? Bramwell, no, just look at that. In that world, we are in Africa. Many people took a lot of sweat and blood and tears and late nights and fatigue to get a degree and a job. That is the toughest fight for every African. The toughest fight is for survivors, not even for success. It's not even for cars or big houses. Forget that. Getting your own small space where you can eat and sleep. The second reason involved the people you're bonding yourself to. The third reason is sex outside marriage disorganizes your life and takes you back to struggle and poverty. It's not making love. It's not making love. If you say you are sexually disciplined and you're not welcoming sex or spending at anybody's houses or spending in your own, it's letting somebody come spend in your house, or you're dating proper in the light and marrying in the light. If you just make that decision, Brahma, the transition between when you get your first job and when you get your first family, there are some years there, by the way. There are some years there. We'll take time and explain the stages of evolution. Stage of development. But from the time you get your first degree or first diploma, your job qualification, from the time you are trained now, market skill, and I don't want anybody to ask me if everybody must go for training. You can't work without training. It may be in the university or it may be at the industry, but you need skills. Nobody employs you because you have 70 kilograms. They employ you because you can get the work done. Are we together? Let's not argue whether training is necessary. You must be trained to deliver results. We don't employ your thighs. You have nice thighs, a nice body, nice face. These socialites have confused people. They think you can just dance, you can just do things and make faces, and now suddenly you're liked, or you shape your body a certain way, and now as you walk, now that is a job. We want to get the work done. We want practical skills. Can you tell this generation, TikTok generation, just put on TikTok and I say now they think that is our job. That is entertainment. When you go to work, we want real skills. Can you get the work done? And I told you the frustration in the industry. If you try to employ a person, anybody today, one media house, an upcoming media house told me they tried to employ a camera controller. The people who came there with the degrees and diplomas for camera control, and they have no clue about framing. They told me I was feeling like I'm talking to you who is not trained. I asked them, is there a difference between hiring trained people and amateurs? What were these people studying in university? They're coming in with diplomas and degrees, and told me the newest camera I had there was 2 years old, and 2 years for electronics is very old. Yeah, your industry. Very old. To me, I had no new machines. I had inherited. We were actually due for upgrade, and we were using machines that these guys is what they studied in the university with. To them, I'm using the same camera as you were studying. Technology, electronics evolve very fast. Within months, they phase out this generation, bring out this generation. I'm using the same cameras and screens. And they told me, forget this, you hear plasma water. The TVs also have screen, they have generations. So they have started this generation, the other generation. I'm using the generation of 2 years back. Why are you? And told me it was a rampant problem. They do framing, head framing is the space above, and those same things I should have been teaching a person who's not trained. I had to teach them as well, and it was very frustrating. So why many of them were not trying to develop and cover this distance between graduating, getting the first job, and distinguishing who they are, then establishing a family that faces where they're going. They were not thinking about that. They were preoccupied with the premarital sex because they thought, many of them confused, they think because of preparing to get married, should be having sex with the person. Sex outside marriage disrupts your whole life and the direction of your preparation and occupies you in an emotionally intense thing of attaching, detaching, reattaching, regretting, crying, trying to patch up, trying to clean up, going to the last problem, which is small but is very true. It establishes a precedent. It establishes a pattern. Once you have sex in the first relationship, you feel obligated like it's normal to have it in the next one. Brahmel people justify sex by saying they're already boyfriend, girlfriend. They plan to get married anyway. I don't know, they're already fiancés. Or the person came to my home. Or the person, they're known by my parents. Anything. We have known each other for 5 years. People justify this kind of sex for any kind of reason. That's why we have the menace of baby mama and baby daddy. The menace. People are getting pregnant in relationship because they're having sex before they get married. Bramwell, you can say these people came to my home and they brought goats and cows. They always return them to the fundamental question, are you married? Return them to that fundamental question every day. Because people are creating a gray area to get confused. You can start cohabiting just because the person visited your home. And we tell them, when you build a house on a sand, it is very steady and safe, so long as there's no rain. You can start cohabiting and think you're okay for as long as there is calm. Wait until the first shake comes. Brahma, when you start living in a married situation when you're not married, the friction of people living together will come. When you're supposed to adjust and evolve from romance to true love, and that friction and that change will come. That pressure, that heat, people will run away when there's nothing to bind them. You're supposed to be in a covenant so that it's not just, a person does not just think they have one leg out. You're supposed to get in so that the person decides whether they need to get in. Remember we said you always get married in a ceremony to make sure both of you have made up their minds that you want to go into marriage. If you just sneak in, somebody will come thinking of the benefits only without the cost. Somebody will come thinking of getting the sex and the goodies. Somebody will not be thinking about the long term. Somebody will not have really certain thought. When you're told you're going to sign up papers tomorrow, you reflect on your life. You really think. When you show up and we're fixing dates and you actually reflect whether you really want this. That's why some people run away from the wedding, because they realize they did not really want this. They were carried by emotions. So the last thing is that many people enter pseudo marital arrangements of, we got a baby, then visited my people, or paid Rasho, paid Lobola, paid bride price, paid this. But they put it in quotes. We are not officially married. We are not legally married. They don't discuss that kind of nonsense. You're putting your marriage in quotes. You're willing to live in quotes yourself. How are people living in quotes? With this husband of mine, with this wife of mine. If you are willing to live in a complicated situation, you have abandoned yourself. So Brahma, this person can simply walk away, no procedure of divorce, no nothing, and simply because you sold on credit. So we are saying, Brahma, the last thing is that it complicates your life when you're in a pseudo arrangement. There was a couple like that who were telling me they were being trying to formalize, things are not working, this guy is not serious, the lady looks like he's changing mind, and it's now 3 years and 2 children in 4 years and 2 children. Many people in those kind of situations now, when it hits the rock, when the first shake comes, you realize for sure you had no security and you ignored it. There are people who say you may do right and they still live. If you do your things right and the marriage still doesn't work, you walk away with the courage, saying, I did my part right. I was not careless. I did not just sneak in. I did not just drift in without thinking. When you do things right and they don't work, you have pain without regret. You have grief without guilt. And you can handle situations confidently. Yes.
And that is exactly where I'll have to begin, Benjamin. You see, tragedy is when learned people that we are looking up to in the society actually start misleading these young men and women.
Exactly.
That is the greatest tragedy
Exactly.
we can have in the society. And that is why sometimes these young men who have decided to actually preserve themselves for marriage, whenever they hear such kind of statements that get married, they graduate with 2 degrees, now they start feeling a shock. Already they are experiencing pressure from their peers. Why aren't you joining us in this? You see, they are restraining, they're on the receiving end. And now they are receiving this kind of information from an authoritarian point of view. Now they start normalizing. They said, okay, kumbe it is normal to do this. So they are swept. They don't have the capacity to hold on. Peer pressure, Bwana Benjamin.
That's very true. And you know, the reason we are raising another voice is so that those who have been beaten by the wrong snakes, when they see the bronze snake that Moses raised, they were healed. Sometimes the snakes or the lies or the misleadings or the misperceptions that we are being pierced with, thrown out there, may not silence anytime soon. They may continue being there and you being told, you are being left by them, be told. But once you see the truth itself, you just need to see the truth, seasons of my life, my brain development, the visions I have, the way I want to keep myself pure. And Brahman, nobody who wants to keep themselves sexually pure will get into a long-term relationship. Because these relationships have sexual feelings. You don't want to keep your sexual feelings, managing them for 2 years. What's the point? We said you always date when you're ready to marry, to settle. God intended sex to be inside marriage. People are trying to invent their own things. I told you sometimes people ask me, comment on LGBTQ, comment on this. I told them, what is special with them? Why should I comment on them? Sometimes you make things important by talking about them. And maybe some young people are being told as if there's another alternative sexuality, alternative lifestyle. People are being deceived. And I told them, every human being has sin active in them. We all have temptations to do wrong things, to have sex with animals, with children, with old people, with sick, with that area of sexuality has too many temptations, and it is upon you to simply submit your sexuality to God and kill the flesh with its desires, and every day beat the flesh and subdue it, lest it carries you away. I tell them, stop giving sins big names. Nobody calls themselves, I was born a fornicator. You don't hear them lifting. I think my sexuality, alternative food. No. All these are temptations, all these are tendencies to sin, and you're supposed to control them and submit to God, and you will find peace. Remember what I told you, Brahman? If today you tell me you have discovered that you're not straight, you're crooked, you are the other direction, I'll tell you one thing for free as a friend. Your value systems have changed. We can no longer see the world the same way. I don't hate you, neither do I condemn you or dismiss you, but I'll tell you one thing for free. You never have peace again. Peace is a person. You have peace when you are aligned with God. Peace is not absence of war. The moment you take your path away from Him, inside of you there's turmoil. There may be no civil war here. Nobody may be shooting at you. There may be nobody throwing stones at you. But inside, once you dethrone the person who's giving you stability, you'll be like a ship without rudder. It may be calm when there are no storms. When storms comes, it's swept by the storm. So, Brahma, tell our young people there's no such thing as, oh, join us. Oh, why are you? Even the one who was speaking said it. Even these guys are saying it. Take your foundation and your solid grounding from God. He's the only author. He's the only manufacturer who made you. Everybody else has found you when you're already here. Even your parents gave birth to you, but when you're a child of God, they were used by God to bring you around, but you have a purpose, and it's God you're supposed to first and foremost answer to.
Yes. You have a purpose, guys, and God is the only person first and foremost to answer to, and purpose is individual. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, anything that costs you emotionally is too expensive. Thank you for watching the Benjamin Zulu Show. Till next time.